It might be good afternoon or perhaps even good morning for those who are on the West Coast. I am Dixie Huey, your presenter's wife. I want to thank y'all for being here. Some of you might be here because one of our clients referred you, which we really appreciate. Others maybe have met us at an event or have come to us via our website and are on our email list. And then some of you, I believe, got my LinkedIn invitation. So wherever you heard about this, just know that we really appreciate you being here. The purpose of these new quick monthly themed series webinars are just to provide financial education and information and get the word out there about Victory Independent Planning. So I want to welcome you to Does Your Advisor Love You Back? This is, as I said, a webinar series designed to help individuals and organizations evaluate the quality and integrity of their financial advisory relationships. Maybe you're doing your own financial planning. That's fine too. How's your relationship with yourself? The webinar is, of course, led by Patrick Huey, a certified financial planner professional. He also has a chartered advisor in philanthropy and is an accredited tax preparer. As the owner of Victory Independent Planning, LLC, Patrick works with families and organizations nationwide to develop financial strategies that align with their goals and values, guided by the firm's motto, live well and do good. Patrick brings a diverse background to his work in financial planning. A former Naval Flight Officer, he served from 96 to 2005, earning the Strike Fighter Air Medal during combat operations and 2 Navy Achievement Medals. In addition to his military service, he's an accomplished author, having written books on history, finance, and even a work of fiction. Throughout this series, Patrick will explore the critical question: does your financial advisor truly have your best interests at heart? He will discuss what makes a great financial advisor, key warning signs to watch for, and how to build a financial partnership based on trust and transparency. His goal is to empower individuals with the knowledge they need to make informed decisions about their financial futures. Because at the end of the day, an advisor should do more than just manage your money. He should be a partner in your success. Let's get started. Here we'll share the journey and help you answer the question, does your advisor love you back?
Well, welcome everybody, and thanks for joining today. I know you could be getting actual work done at this time, but instead you're here learning about financial advice, and that's dedication. So we'll be sure to be mindful of your time. Today we're talking about whether or not your advisor loves you back. Last week was Valentine's Day, so that seems appropriate. And no, your advisor won't be sending you chocolates or writing you poetry, but a great advisor can deliver a lot more than good feelings and a temporary sugar rush. They can provide confidence and clarity for your financial life and improve your physical and mental health. Yeah, chocolate might make you happier for a very short period of time, but we are talking about doing that for a long period, including your retirement years, which may be as long as 3 decades. Does your advisor love you back? It's a good question any time of year. Indeed, I got a call last fall from an old friend who was asking it then. He had an advisor, but they rarely talked. He wasn't sure what he was paying her in fees. There was no retirement plan, no tax plan, and no plan for future income. And when he told her he was thinking of leaving, she held him on the phone for almost an hour, detailing her famous clients, the awards she had won, and her plans to let her kids take over the business when she finally retired. Now, I don't know what that is, but it's not love, and it's not even like or respect. So how should your advisor go about showing you the love? Today, we'll talk about 8 ways to do just that. Consider this part 1 of a series of 2 conversations because In the follow-up to this webinar, I'll meet with you individually and provide an assessment of all 8 topics. Posted in the chat, which you can access at the bottom of your screen, where the button says chat, is pasted a link to schedule part 2 of this content. And you can do that anytime during the presentation, and I'll remind you about it at the end. Because this is a brief presentation, I've turned off the Q&A, and we can cover any individual questions in that second session. Also, I didn't make the slides available today, but all of the information is in this book, The 7 Pillars of Financial Wisdom. The second edition just launched this week, and I can send you a copy of the ebook if you like. You can just message me in the webinar chat with your email address, or if you'd like, you can text book to 239-567-5477 to get a copy. The first way an advisor can show his or her love is to show that they care about your health, including your sleep. So speaking of sleep, let's start with a quick poll. How would you rate your sleep last night? Be honest. Did you wake up feeling refreshed, or did you spend the night calculating how many avocado toasts and grande lattes you need to cut out to be able to afford retirement? I ask this because sleep is a big deal. Without enough of it, we turn into zombies and we make poor decisions, including financial decisions. And lack of sleep is linked to health conditions like heart disease, obesity, and the inability to remember why you just walked into a room. If you want to live long and prosper, you have to get your sleep. So looking at the poll results, they're not abnormal. 1 in 3 American adults, about 84 million people nationwide, described their sleep the previous night as only fair or poor. But guess what keeps people awake at night? Money and money worries. A Gallup poll found that 77% of US adults lose sleep over financial stress. That's why I like to say that as a financial advisor, I'm really a sleep specialist. Because if I can help you worry less about money, maybe you can finally get some decent shut-eye. I even have a little acronym for you. SLEEP. S stands for sources of savings and income. L for loss aversion and investing. E for essential medical coverage. E for estate and gift planning, and P for potential tax savings. Now, I'll never think of sleep standing for anything else ever again. And if your advisor helps with all of these issues, then they're helping you to better financial health and better health overall. Number 2, they effectively share their expertise. Advisors, including me, have more letters after their names than a bowl of alphabet soup. CFP, CFA, CHFC, CLU, RICP. But what do they mean? And do they actually help you? The key isn't just credentials. It's finding an advisor who understands your specific needs. Do you need help with retirement, estate planning? Figuring out if you can afford that guacamole toast you just ordered? It's important to find an advisor whose expertise matches your needs. For instance, don't hire a life insurance specialist for retirement planning or help with taxes. So a great advisor knows their stuff, but they also know how to explain it in a way that makes sense to you. If they're using jargon like Monte Carlo simulations without telling you what that means, they are literally speaking a different language. Even if they are helping with all the sleep metrics, They need the expertise to share and explain it so that you understand it. Being confused, well, that's not a great recipe for sleeping at night. Number 3, they understand your emotions. The key word in that sentence is obviously your. Money is emotional. It's not just numbers on a spreadsheet. It's dreams, fears, and it's that sinking feeling you get when your credit card bill arrives after the holidays. A good advisor won't just hand you a plan and say, here, follow this. They'll talk to you about your goals, your values, and what keeps you up at night besides those late night Instagram scrolls. For example, this is how we do it. I developed my trademarked Check 6 client discovery system, which is a series of surveys and interview questions to understand you and your unique situation better. Have you ever heard of a financial freakout? Maybe the market drops and you feel the urge to sell everything and hide your cash under the mattress. Well, a great advisor helps you manage those emotions and make smart decisions, not panic-driven ones. But they do it in a way that acknowledges your emotional state and doesn't prey on it. Number 4, they communicate proactively. If your advisor only calls you when you reach out first, that's not a relationship. It's a game of phone tag. Good advisors keep in touch, whether it's through emails, check-ins, or sending helpful updates about market trends or financial planning topics. If your advisor is like Santa Claus and only appears once a year around the holidays, that is a giant red flag. Because communication is key. You don't want someone who only calls when they need something. That's not an advisor. That's a salesperson. Number 5, they have an independent streak. Some advisors work for big firms that still push specific products. I know, it's crazy, but it still happens. While independent advisors can offer unbiased advice. Think of it like this. Would you rather get a menu with only one dish or a full buffet where you can choose what's best for you? An independent advisor isn't tied to selling specific funds or policies. They can tailor recommendations just for you without corporate pressure. So if your advisor is always trying to sell you something, ask yourself, are they really even an advisor? And is that what I want my relationship to be like pretty much for the rest of my life? This is one time where it is preferable for your health to choose the buffet. Number 6, they are not selfish. Your advisor should have your best interests at heart. That's why working with a fiduciary is so important. Okay, time for another poll to see if we understand the buzzword I just used, which was fiduciary. Take a look and choose the best definition that you can find for fiduciary. If you're hesitant or confused, I've got news for you. You're not alone. Unfortunately, as the SEC itself has discovered, retail customers, quoting here, do not understand and are confused by the roles played by investment advisors and broker-dealers. And more importantly, the standards of care applicable when providing personalized investment advice and recommendations about securities. In other words, investors don't know who is and isn't required to act in their best interest. So they don't know who to trust. Fiduciary is a fancy word that means they legally have to put you first, where you belong. It is, after all, your money. Unfortunately, not everyone who calls themselves a financial advisor is a fiduciary. Now, I think the trust equation, which is on the screen, helps a lot here. And this is a concept put forward by the author Charles Green, where trust, T, equals credibility plus reliability plus intimacy, and all of that is divided by self-orientation. Credibility comes from what we say and what we know. Reliability is about our actions, and intimacy is about the feelings of safety that someone confers to you. Below the line, that denominator is self-orientation, or the focus of a person's words and actions. So trust in a relationship requires good scores on all four variables in the trust equation. You obviously want high credibility. You obviously want reliability. And you'd like to have the intimacy to talk freely with someone you trust. And because it is the denominator in the equation, you want low self-orientation. If an advisor is all about themselves, all about their awards and their plans for the future, your trust level should be nearing 0. Number 7, they acknowledge conflicts and shortcomings. You ever met someone who insists they're always right? Yeah, that's not a great trait in a financial advisor, because we all make mistakes. And occasional humiliation is a specialty of markets the world over. Likewise, we all have conflicts of interests. But a good advisor admits when they have such conflicts. For example, if I'm paid based on how much you invest, I need to tell you that before suggesting that you avoid paying off your mortgage, because I have an interest in how much money you have invested with me. No one, not even me, is 100% conflict-free. But honesty and transparency, well, those should be non-negotiable in any long-term relationship. 8th, they provide real value. At the end of the day, your advisor should bring real, measurable value to your financial life. And here are some key ways to measure this based on recent research. First is alpha. Are they improving your investment returns? Note that this is particularly difficult to do, especially if you aren't looking at risk-adjusted returns, meaning how much you get for how much risk you take. So then you might consider beta as well. Are they helping you manage risk? And if so, how? Next up is called gamma. Are they making smart planning moves that improve your retirement outlook? Remember, advisors are now expected to do more than just choose suitable investments. We're often called on to provide ongoing financial planning, retirement advice, and collaborate for tax efficiency. And all of that adds value if it's done systematically. Finally is zeta. Measuring the effect of advice from 2007 to 2009, researchers found that those who engaged an advisor lost wealth during the protracted market drawdown of those years, but they lost proportionately less than those who didn't engage an advisor. So, is your advisor protecting you from losing more than you can afford during downturns? That's zeta, and it definitely matters. Last does not mean least. The best advisors do more than just manage investments. They help you plan, strategize, and feel confident about your financial future. They take these Greek letters and make sure that the value presented is not Greek to you. So there you have it. 8 ways your advisor hopefully shows their love. Now, you see that a good financial advisor is like a mixture of a sleep specialist, a therapist, and a trusted guide. Our final poll. Are you right now, today, feeling the love from your financial advisor? Does he or she check these boxes, these 8 topics? If not, it's time to have a conversation. Answer that poll question, and remember, now is the time to book part 2 of this webinar and see if your advisor loves you back. Remember, just click on the link that I provided in the chat. When my friend called me last fall, he was paying 1.5% annually for money management. Nothing else. In one meeting, we showed him how we'd add value. We talked about a proactive contact schedule. We ran him through our Check 6 discovery system, and we made sure that all of his sleep items were covered. And we did it for a lower fee. When he left his old advisor and became a client of ours, he didn't walk away, he ran. Remember, to schedule the second part of this content and get a scorecard on your current advisory relationship, remember to click the link in the chat. And if you want to receive the book this content is based on, just text book to 239-567-5477. Again, that's book to 239-567-5477. Thanks again for joining. And remember, financial clarity and confidence, well, those are the ultimate love language. Thanks, everybody.